Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. It's Chuck here. We got a list of 10 properties. We start off with two from the Costigan Viva Townhouse development. Like the white cabinets here, 324.7. I just don't see somebody paying more than 320 for a two-bedroom. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Even the equivalent in an apartment building like 1379 Costigan, it's going to be a real tough time. So I look at some of these and I say, you know what? It reminds me of that lemming mentality. If you know what a lemming is, it's basically an animal that just, despite its own fate, will continue to follow other people. And I feel like everybody's kind of put the prices up high on these, and I just don't see a lot of them happening, and there's a big cluster of them. So buyers really have a choice of 7 or 8 different units, and when they're all at the same price, guess what happens? The first one to crack is going to be the one that sells. So there it is there. I mean, they're okay inside. I find that this one overlooks a little bit of green space. There are some areas where kids can play and all the rest of it. Another blurry photo there. Anyways, I'm not a big fan of these for the price that they're offering. I think they are good options for first-time buyers, pretty low maintenance, but they're still I think compared to what else you can get, not in the right place. So Laurier is $379. It's a link home. Basically, it's a semi-detached. It calls it a link. I think that if they had taken the Christmas decorations down, they would have been able to reposition some of the furniture. I mean, you're basically blocking the fireplace here. And so this home probably could have done with a little bit of staging, getting rid of some of the stuff like the heavy window coverings, putting just some normal blinds in, maybe having a little less stuff in here, especially this room here, just taking some of the kids' stuff out, packing it up, because if you've got your home for sale, you're going to be moving, hopefully, if you sell it. But if you're going to move anyways, you might as well pack this stuff up early, and that's some nice shots of the basement there. 379 is in line with what they usually sell for. There were a couple that were in a bit rougher shape that were sold last year a bit lower. Holly is right on the corner, so if you look at where this one on Holly is, it's now Google Maps puts it here, but it's actually this property right here. There's Symposium. There used to be a Starbucks in this plaza. I wish it was still there. There's a Pizza Hut Express or something like that, but you've got some live work stuff here. Boy, I wish this one could be a commercial unit. I don't think someone's going to be able to get an approval on that, but it even looks like a commercial unit. Like, it almost looks like you could put little logos here. Anyways, it's designed to be lived in. It doesn't really have a backyard. It has a deck. You're going to hear dairy for sure with that proximity. So a deck above a double car garage, and inside, I believe that's your main floor, and so they've set it up like an office. That's probably the upstairs, and about 1,800 square feet. Nice floor plan on this one. The master bedroom obviously has that nice turret look to it, and they've done a great job with it. So 409, I think, is pretty competitive. What you're looking at is basically that play between probably not the best location in terms of sound. You're probably going to hear noise even in the master bedroom as you're sleeping, but it has some good upgrades. So typically these ones, the nice ones, tend to float around the 400 mark. But I think the exposure there, I mean, I wonder if someone could even kind of have a business in there that maybe doesn't have a lot of signage, but they still do some stuff, maybe cutting hair. You have to check with the town for all that stuff, but I'm just kind of thinking outside the box. Woodley Crescent is another one that is a bit busy, or it's near a busy road. So again, Google Maps didn't quite get this one mapped right. It's actually this property right on the corner here. So you're going to hear Bronte, and obviously that street, this is where the new university is going to be. So the education village is going to be happening right over here. Now people say, is that a good thing to be close to it? Generally, it's kind of one of those things. Is it going to be an area that's overrun with student housing? Are people going to be taking care of their properties as well? I don't know, but I think that if you had kids going to that university, I can't think of much better place than this. There was an end unit, same model as this, called the Linwell, that just sold backing onto a commercial plaza in the low 400s. It had a finished basement. This one has much better upgrades, I think, than that one. Nice color choices. I think nice design. Everything looks good in this home. Obviously, you can see having a crib here. There's a chance that they might be outgrowing the house. But yeah, everything looks nice and clean, simple. Two things about this home. There's a little nook right at the top of the stairs. That is the laundry room. And a very interesting thing, there's a side door that comes in right where the powder room is, just off the front entrance. Now, it's the only townhouse, as far as I know, that actually the builders put that in. Is there a creative use where you could actually get somebody down to the basement where that could be a full separate entrance? You'd have to do some work around the front entrance to make it happen, but I wonder what would happen if somebody actually tried that, or if it has been done. You also have a 49-foot lot, so you've got a bit of a wider backyard as well. So it'll be an interesting one. I think the location could help them or hurt them. I'm not sure at this point how that's going to play out. Forbes Terrace is $429, and it's a Meadowlark. It's got 9-foot ceilings, built by Heathwood. Heathwood typically gets a premium. There's no photos on this one yet. I think the Meadowlarks are 1,600 square feet. I can't remember the exact size, but you look at that, at $429 for a townhouse. Is it better to go for this one on Ferguson that's a couple hundred square feet bigger? It's like 18-20 square feet, and you get some nice upgrades here. You've got some beadboards, some hardwood floors. The kitchen looks like it has some decent upgrades. And yeah, it's a little bit older and everything else, but I look at this and say that's a good value for a detached home that's larger compared to a townhouse. So that one actually looks like it's priced in line. The detached single garages right now are doing really funny things. We're finding some pretty good sales and some other ones that just cannot get rid of them even under $450. So I do think it compares pretty well to what else is out there. Some of the stuff that sold low is now gone. It was gone before Christmas, and there's not as much for sale right now. So this Lederman one, it's at the same price that it was for the last 3 months. They just chopped the old listing, put a new one up. 4-car parking in the driveway. It's 2,436 square feet. Darker kitchen. California shutters, but no hardwood, and I think most people would probably want to have hardwood. So what we've even done sometimes in the past, if somebody doesn't want to do hardwood or it's not in the budget, that they still have the option, pardon me, I'm sniffling a little bit, that they have the option of getting 1 or 2 quotes that are right there, because buyers are going to look sometimes and say, oh yeah, that's $15,000, when in actual fact it might be half of that, and so it's good to be armed with that information. Same thing with a roof that might need replacing. A seller's not necessarily going to get the full benefit of putting a roof in if they do. But if they can maybe negotiate halfway or something with a reliable quote, that can be a really good thing to look at. I think their fate is probably going to be the same as what it was before in the last 90 days. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Now, there was a time when that was actually a pretty good price for this home, but I think that the values have slid a little bit on the double garages, 36-foot lots. They should probably be a bit less than where they are. So Malbuff is about 2,500 square feet, all brick. They have a nice walkout balcony here. Most of the time they put the balconies in the homes with the siding to try and, I guess, incentivize it, but you get the best of both worlds here. It's on a pie-shaped lot. I don't find that that they've really showcased the lot very much, and it says see the survey. Well, I mean, an aerial shot can be a good thing. There's lots of ways to showcase an actual premium lot. The biggest thing I find with most people these days is it's not so much the size of the lot, although that is important, but it's the privacy that really matters. So all the colors are done really well. I like the fact that there's different splashes of color in the home. I think it gives a nice impression. I guess that kind of shows it, but I'm wondering if they took a shot from here, if you could really get a sense of that depth. It's sort of normal on this side here, so you're going to be the same distance away from the neighbors. $599 could go either way. I think definitely the first number starting with a 5 is a good thing. Dairy Road is at $719, and so it's a live-work unit. And that's the view from Dairy Road. These have been sitting around for a while, and one was sold conditional and it came off. And I wonder, the thing about these is that there's certain considerations. There's financing, which is almost the same way that these are a merge of residential and commercial. The financing can be that way too. So, for example, you could get lower rates compared to commercial, which is typically higher than residential, but you might have to have a bigger down payment. So they can be tricky. It's almost like you really have to have everything lined up as a seller to say, here's the statistics about traffic patterns, here's the economic information about Milton, here's the financing packages that we've already arranged. So as a seller, I think you could be very proactive in your approach to selling these units. And the nice thing I like is they actually have a full basement downstairs. So if you have inventory or anything like that, there's a lot of space to put. I even wonder if there's a possibility of doing actual basement offices in some of these places. And the upstairs are nice. I mean, most of them tend to be rented. There's not many owners that have their business underneath. Usually these are bought as investment properties. They tend to float a little bit high. I don't know if I would pay more than $7 for these, but they are good-looking units. They've got high ceilings. The finishes are not bad, and then you've got all the grounds taken care of as well. So it's something that we just haven't seen a lot of movement on these, but that could be a function of price. It could be a function of there's just not that many people looking for stuff. We've got the new commercial building, the Green Life one on Bronte, that's coming out too. So some of the new construction stuff might have been taken away some of their audience. So that's it for this episode of Daily Homes, and have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Okay, take care.